putting together my first recipe. I decided to do this because I don't have an actual family cookbook, and I am putting together what I call my Cooking Like an Apothecary cookbook for everybody as I evolve into the herbalist world and see what I can play with and see what I can do with it. So my first recipe that I've chosen is my Basic Alfredo Sauce, and some of the ingredients that we're going to start with, and you can kind of add what you want in there. Tonight I am in the mood for some chicken and some asparagus, and you're welcome to put some mushrooms in there, some garlic or chives, and some fresh herbs and stuff like that. But today I just didn't feel like doing the herbs, so I'm just going to do some steamed vegetables and a little chicken for some protein. One of the ingredients you're going to start out with is the butter. And the measurements of the heavy whipping cream depends on how much you're going to use and how thick you want it, how little thinner you would like to have it. But I'm going to start with just a little bit more than a cup. And the Parmesan is going to be just a little bit more of a cup. And then I'm just going to season it simply with just some black pepper and maybe some sea salt. Okay, so I've got my water boiling with our pasta in it, and we're just going to let it do its thing here. And I'm going to turn my burner on to a medium-low. And sometimes I like to start out at 4 and may make it go up a little bit higher or lower depending on the weather or the stove. It's kind of funky that way. But I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of butter, and some people like to put in a little bit more. I'm not much of a butter freak in my Alfredo sauce, so I just like to start out with just 2 tablespoons, and so I'm just going to let it melt. And as it's melting, some of the herbs that you can use along in here is dried oregano. Usually, oregano is used dry; it's not used fresh. You can use basil. You can even be a little more creative and use catnip. You can use lemon balm. It has a little lemon flavor. So if you add shrimp to your Alfredo sauce, you can add a little fresh lemon balm to give it a little like cool little personality to it. Some people add rosemary. Yeah, it just depends on what you're in the mood for, and each of the herbs have their own particular medicinal property to them. So you kind of do your little research on what you want to create in there, what you want to put in, and just kind of go from there. Alright, so our butter is melted, and I'm just going to let it melt just a little bit more because I want it to be a certain temperature. And sometimes I like to keep the heavy whipping cream out on the countertop just a little bit longer than normal to get it to room temperature. So now I'm going to add the cream and infuse the butter and the cream together. And there's really no fancy way to do it. I mean, you can dump it all in, you can do it slowly. I'm sure chefs have their protocol on how you do this, but I get away with it this way. So you're welcome to do it your own personal way on however it turns out for you. Alright, so there goes all the whipping cream. And I'm just going to stir it and warm up the cream a little bit more and incorporate the butter within it. Turn it up just a little bit more. just kind of stirring it along, watching it. And if it starts bubbling, you kind of need to turn the temperature down because it's getting too warm. Or you can just stir a little bit more. And I wanted to say the reason why I'm doing this cookbook is because I'm changing my lifestyle, and I didn't really want to go pure vegan or vegetarian or just go to the extreme. I wanted to find like a medium in between state. So as I fold these recipes and I go through this process, I'm going to slowly incorporate and slowly be a little creative in some of the recipes and be a little more healthier and all that good stuff. So today we're just kind of starting out with the basics, real simple stuff that we know from our family bringing and all that good stuff. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the steam, but it's starting to steam up, and that's telling me that it's ready for the cheese. So I'm going to incorporate the cheese in now, the Parmesan cheese, and I'm just going to mix it all in there. And I may add a little more cheese to it, depending on how thin or thick it is. But it's kind of rich if you add too much cheese to it, so I kind of don't. You see how it's kind of already incorporating, and I'm just going to stir it a little bit longer and let the Parmesan kind of blend into it just a little bit longer. Okay, so the sauce is ready now, and you see how it's kind of just bubbling just a little bit, and it's kind of thick, but it's not real thick. That's what you kind of want. And if you add more cheese, Parmesan cheese, it makes it thicker. And sometimes some people will maybe like reduction it a little bit more, but I like it a little bit creamy. I don't like it too thick. And so I'm going to add my chicken to the sauce. And then I'm going to add my asparagus to the sauce. And you can add it now or add it with your pasta and pour the sauce over it, but I like to put it in. I like to let it simmer inside for a little bit. I'm going to add just a little bit pepper to give it some flavor. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. And I'm just going to let it heat up the chicken a little bit and the asparagus. And I used the pre-cooked rotisserie chicken because I'm lazy and I didn't feel like, doing all kinds of fancy stuff with the chicken. But you're welcome to do a marinade sauce with it, get real fancy if you like. But I just did a real simple stuff. So, alright, so it's ready. So I'm going to get the plate ready. Let me set that there. And I'm going to get the plate ready, and I'm going to put some of the noodles onto the plate. And I just sliced some cucumbers up in a bowl, and I made so I've been on a cleanse, so I made a dandelion root salad dressing. It the dandelion root has been, infused in some balsamic vinegar, and so I just kind of incorporated it. And then I'm just going to pour it over. See, so it's a little more thin than most Alfredo sauces, but you can, if you want it thicker, it's even parts. So it would, if you use a cup of heavy whipping cream, then it's a cup of Parmesan cheese. If you use 2 cups, it's 2 cups of cheese, 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, 2 cups of Parmesan cheese. And voila! There's my meal, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's just something that I learned along the way, and hopefully we'll have a whole bunch more to go.